The circle of fifths. How many times have you heard this term since you learned music? If this is your first time, keep on watching. You will learn something new and very cool. And if you have heard this term a gazillion times, keep on watching because I bet you haven't heard all the coolest things about this little bad boy. Hey folks, my name is Jakub Saputra with Kabisa Music. If you play music for a while, you might have realized by now that the phenomenon of music is governed by physics and mathematics. I would say that music is the most beautiful form of math. Wait. Are you really gonna skip this video just because I say math? Fine. I won't say that word anymore. Jeez. However you want to deny it, the most beautiful things that we experience in this universe have patterns that repeats themselves. For example, do you know that a person with a face that is symmetrical and has an attribute of the golden ratio will be seen to be more attractive than people who are not? Well, suit yourself. It's actually well documented. The golden ratio itself is a huge topic on its own that you can dive into and you will astonish to no end. But after this video, geez, get your hands off that mouse, buddy. All I'm saying is, if you're really curious about what it is that makes music so beautiful, full of bliss, and can be all heart-wrenching all at the same time, it's actually easy. All you have to do is to pay attention to the patterns that emerge. In music, we have something, a pattern that acts almost like a golden ratio, and it's called the circle of fifths. So what is exactly the circle of fifths? According to Wikipedia, the circle of fifths is the relationship among the 12 tones of the chromatic scale, key signatures, and more specifically, it's a geometrical Man, you want me to keep reading this? Forget it. It's basically this diagram right here. You see that? Basically, it's just a circle that puts all 12 tones in a particular order, and the order is determined by how far they are from each other. How far exactly? They're actually a perfect fifth away from each other. Let me show you what it means. The circle of fifths start with C, and the next note is a perfect fifth away from C, which is G. This is how we count it. This is C, and then D is a second away, E is a third away, F is a fourth away, and finally, G is a fifth away. For now, don't worry about why is it called a perfect fifth. I'm probably going to talk about it in the next video. Another way to find it is by looking for the fifth note in C major scale, which is again, is G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's basically how you find the perfect fifth. So we got C and G. And now, if you want to find the next note in the circle of fifth, we should just look at the fifth note in G major scale, which is D. How about the next note? Just look at the fifth note in D major scale, which is exactly, it's A. So if I continue this pattern, I will eventually finish the circle and end up with all 12 tones. C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and C. That's the circle of fifths. So what now? What's so wonderful about it? Well, let's take a step back. The circle of fifths, 5. Well, the number 5 is a really important number in music. Number 5 is responsible for so many things in music, almost like a cement that glues the phenomenon of music as we know it. Let's start with the phenomenon of harmonic series. Has it ever occurred to you that you were trying to practice, but every time you play one particular note, an object in your room starts buzzing out of control? It could be your ceiling, it could be your music stand, and it could be anything. But notice that object only makes that buzz sound when you play a very specific note. It's annoying, isn't it? Well, my friend, you just experienced the phenomenon of the harmonic series. The object is basically in a perfect alignment in the harmonic series overtones of that particular note. Harmonic series is basically a sequence of notes that is produced by a single fundamental note. If the fundamental note is C, here is the harmonic series. Now watch, I'm going to press the note G very lightly to let the damper loosen without letting the hammer actually touch the strings. And I'm going to play this low C right here, okay? So you can see that there's no sound, there's no G sound whatsoever. And I'm going to play this low C right here. Let's see what happened. Do you hear that? That's actually a G note ringing right now. Let's hear a G note. What is it supposed to sound like? Okay, now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to play it very lightly to loosen the damper, but it doesn't touch the string. Again, so basically I'm not playing the G right now. I'm only letting the G string to be available. I'm going to play this C. Do you hear that? But it doesn't work very well if I play this C to ring this A flat. Let's see. You can barely hear anything at all. So how is it even possible? That's because that G is in the harmonic series of this C, but not this A flat. This A flat does not belong to the harmonic series of this C. So the effect, this physical effect of the C ringing the G is much stronger than it is to the A flat right here. But what does it have to do with number 5? Well, look at this harmonic series of C. The first harmonic, or the fundamental, is of course C. The second harmonic is the C 1 octave above the fundamental. But look at the next harmonic. It's G, which happens to be a fifth away from C. This is actually not a coincidence. Do you know that back in the day, people actually used to tune their piano based on pure fifth and octave intervals? That's partly because of the basic understanding of the harmonic series. They basically try to tune C and G to sound almost like one note when they are played together. Because if C and G tune in a perfect fifth away from each other, it would create this beautiful sonority. Why? Because each note is actually reinforcing each other. Another cool fact. Sometimes when you listen to singers and they happen to sing in pure perfect fifths, you could start hearing notes that they don't actually sing. Mysterious, right? Guess what are notes that you will likely to hear? Correct, those that are in the harmonic series overtones. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But is that it? Not so fast, Chief. Let's take a look at the first 5 notes in the harmonic series. What do you get? A glorious C major chord. That's probably why a major chord is perceived to be a bright and happy chord, because this is the harmony that the nature itself plays for us. The notes in a major chord are vibrating and reinforcing each other every time they are played together. Not only within the instruments, but they also vibrate and reinforce every object in the room that is in the same frequency. Man, nature is so wonderfully creepy, isn't it? But is that all? The circle of fifths is also an extremely useful diagram that contains a lot of information. If only we knew how to find it. Let's go to the most well-known facts. The circle of fifths arrange keys from the one with 0 sharps or flat to those with the most sharps and flats in order. Let's start with C. C has 0 sharp and flat. G has 1 sharp, D has 2 sharps, A has 3 sharps, and so on and so forth, all the way to technically E sharp with a whooping 11 sharps. But it's really not practical to write a piece of music in E sharp major with 11 sharps, where you can easily call it F major with 1 cute flat. This equivalent is called in harmonics. So if you go clockwise, you get to see order of the keys with sharps. If you go counterclockwise, you get the order of the keys with flats. Again, start with C. It has 0 sharp and flat. F has 1 flat. B flat has 2 flats, and so on and so forth. But this time, let's stop in G flat with 6 flats. But it's still not the end of the story. Let's look at the sharps and flats that exist in each key. G has F sharp. D has F sharp and C sharp. A has F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Well, do you see a pattern here? The additional sharps of the next key are also embedded in the circle of fifths. Can you guess the additional sharp in the key of E? Sure enough, it's a perfect fifth away from G sharp, which is D sharp, and so on and so forth. What about the flat? You can guess it by now, right? That the order of the flat is for sure hidden somewhere inside. Let's see. F has B flat. B flat has B flat and E flat. E flat has B flat, E flat, and A flat. And the pattern continues. The difference is that it moves counterclockwise. Oof. If this is not fascinating enough for you, I don't know what is. But there is more, and you want to see this. Every major scale is actually grouped together in the circle of fifth in a very profound way. Take the most obvious one, C major scale. The notes in C major scale is actually grouped together, starting from F all the way to B. But they are not just grouped randomly. If you pay closer attention, the quality of the triad in C major scale is actually also cleverly grouped according to whether they are major, minor, or diminished. In C major scale, F, C, and G will create major triads, while D, A, and E create minor triads. And B, the lone somewhere at the end of the chain, is a diminished triad. Sure, you can use this for any other major scale. Let's pick B flat major scale as an example. To find the notes on B flat major scale, you can simply go back one step from B flat, which is E flat, and then go forward through the next 6 notes ahead. So it will extend from E flat all the way to A, going clockwise. And that will be the notes in B flat major scale. The first 3 triads will be major, the next 3 triads will be minor, and the last one is diminished. The circle of fifths is also very useful to determine how far each key is from each other harmonically. Let me ask you this question. Which key is the furthest from the key of C? The key of G or the key of B? Let's think about it for a second. The right answer is G. The key of G is harmonically closer to C than the key of B. It's because C has more common notes with G than it has with B. The only different notes between the key of C and G is F sharp, compared to the B that has C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So the key of G is more closely related to C than the key of B, even though C and B look closer together on the keyboard. There's another piece of information that you can squeeze from the circle of fifths, and that is an exclusive tritone relationship between 2 notes in the circle of fifths. Tritone. Wow. This is also an eerily fascinating interval. It's very unstable, yet very beautiful intervals. It's one of the only 2 symmetrical intervals ever to exist. Tritone is what makes the harmonic tension resolutions even possible. Think of tritone like a sail in harmony. It's something that moves and also steer the harmony in the direction that you desire. But we're going to talk about it in the future video because it's just too fascinating. So, how exactly to find a tritone pair in the circle of fifths? It's very easy. Just look at the note across the note in questions. For example, key of C. To find the tritone interval of C, just look at the note right across the key of C in the circle. You will find F sharp. What about E flat? Well, just look at the note right across E flat, which is A. Pretty easy, right? Trust me, to know this is super useful in understanding harmony moving forward. So this trick is a very handy one. Let's recap a little bit. We learned earlier how the harmonic series plays out in our universe and how it is the foundations of harmony in the physics level. We also have learned how perfect fifths used to be the way people tuned their instruments in the past. After that, we have at least 4 different kinds of information that we can squeeze out of the circle of fifths. From the order of the number of the accidentals, to the order of the accidentals itself, to how you can find major scale and the quality of the triads grouped together, and last we get to find tritone pairs, all using this miraculous circle of fifths. So what else can we get out of this? Are these all we have? No. There's at least one more miracle that you can find in the circle of fifths, which is the 2-5-1 progression. The 2-5-1 progression is the foundations of harmony at the musical level. You actually hear 2-5-1 progressions and its derivatives all the time, across all genres, from classical music, jazz music, to popular music. 2-5-1 progression is basically just a movement of chords whose roots descend in fifth. Therefore, it could be represented by looking at the circle of fifths in counterclockwise direction. Just look at the turnaround on the famous Chopin Nocturne, Opus 9, number 2. Look at the highlighted chords. Those are the ones with the 2-5-1 progressions or its derivatives. Let me show you. one of the most beloved jazz standards of all time, All the Things You Are. But as I said, it's also used extensively in pop music, even though at a decreasing pace. Let's take a look at the chorus of Robbie Williams' song, Betterment. As my soul heals the shame, I will grow through this pain. Lord, I'm doing all I can to be a better man. One of the most amazing derivations of 2-5-1 progressions is the extended dominant, where you can pick any starting chord and any target chord as you like, and use the circle of fifth to fill the gaps with a bunch of dominant chords in between these two chords of your choice. So let's say you want to start with E flat and you want to arrive at C major 7. All you have to do is to spot E flat in the circle of fifths and go down the path until you arrive at your target chord, which is C major 7. Let's see. Isn't that cool? Guys, I'm telling you that the circle of fifths is an extremely powerful force in music. I will totally vote this to be included as one of the wonders of the world because it's just too fascinating to be ignored. And I'm glad I get to share this with all of you. And thank you really for staying this far with me. Now, I want to turn it over to you. Which of these 7 wonders of the circle of fifths that you have never heard before? Is it the fact that people used to tune their instruments in pure fifths? Or the practical use of the 2-5-1 progression? Let me know by leaving a comment below. I'm sure you get a fresh new look at a circle of fifths that you might not have already known. If you do, don't forget to smash the like button below, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell so you're not missing out on my next video. Because in the next video, I'm gonna tell you why the circle of fifths actually sucks. But for now, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.